Okay guys, finally we've got part 4. And part 4, one word only, that's the latest IELTS trend. In part 4, they'll give you one word only and there'll be a talk, one speaker only, very fluent talk. It'll go on and on and on and on and on. No time in the middle to read the questions. In the beginning, they will give you 1 minute to read questions 31 to 40. And you read all the questions, but use that 1 minute wisely. It's not that after 20 seconds you're looking around. When will the audio start and all that, okay? 1 minute is full time. And after 1 minute, it'll say, now look at questions 31 or now listen to the audio and answer questions 31 to 40. Okay, now the first thing is for part 4, headings are very important. First, the main heading. What is that? Agricultural program in Mozambique. Does anybody know where Mozambique is? In Asia, Africa, America, Australia. It's in Africa, exactly. Now just imagine Mozambique in Africa. African people, hello Africans. I know you watch my videos too. Anyways, there was an IELTS passage about Botswana's zebra population. And once I got a student from Botswana. You know, I always imagined Botswana and zebra population in Africa. So once I got a student, I asked her, where are you from? She said, I'm from Botswana. And I was like, tell me more about Botswana, how it is and how the zebras are and all that. Then I watched a documentary and then I could properly visualize how zebra life is and all that. Anyways, agricultural program in Mozambique, how the program was organized. And you can see there are questions, so many questions. Second heading is further developments. And again, there are 4 questions. And the last heading is evaluation and lessons learned. So all 3 headings, there will be a little pause or they will use signposting. Signposting like let's move on to some further developments. That means the second last heading. If in the audio they say, let's talk about evaluation and lessons learned, that means the last part. So these headings will help you to track the audio. Tracking the audio means where the audio is and you are exactly there. Only then you will be able to catch the answers, otherwise not. Okay, in the first heading, we don't have any question. First 2 headings, there is no question. So listen up. You will not read these 2 bullet points, but when the audio starts, you will put your one hand on the question, but the other one you will track the audio. That now audio is at bullet point 1. Now the audio is at bullet point 2. Because the audio will be so fast, you will not be able to actually catch it if you are only at 3rd bullet point and waiting for the answer to come. No. With this hand, you are there on question number 31. You put your thumb on question number 31 and as the audio starts, go on with the first bullet point. Now, what is first bullet point? It focused on a dry and arid region in, alright, you can read this word whatever you want to. It's African city. Chikwalakwala district near the Limpopo River. Alright, okay. Yeah, Limpopo River and all that. So they will talk about Chikwalakwala and Limpopo River. After that, we have a question now. There is no question even. People dependent on the forest to provide charcoal and all that. The word charcoal will come, then you should be alert. Now it's going to be my turn. 3rd bullet point. Dash was seen as the main priority to ensure the supply of water. Now you can just ask yourself, what was seen as main priority to ensure the supply of water? I play the audio, 1 word only. Okay, no article, no extra word.
To support agriculture in this dry region, the program focused primarily on making use of existing water resources from the Limpopo River by setting up systems of irrigation, which would provide a dependable water supply for crops and animals. The program worked closely with the district government.
Okay, the answer? Irrigation, exactly. Now, irrigation was seen as the main priority to ensure the supply of water. I play it again once.
To support agriculture in this dry region, the program focused primarily on making use of existing water resources from the Limpopo River by setting up systems of irrigation, which would
by setting up systems for irrigation. So irrigation is the answer. And how do you spell irrigation? I-R-R-I-G-A-T-I-O-N. Okay, now next 32. Most of the work organized by Farmers Association was done by work which was organized by Farmers Association. Most of the work was done by. By means who? It can be someone, people, type of people and all that. Let's see.
The region already had one Farmers Association, and it was decided to set up 2 more of these. These associations planned and carried out activities including water management, livestock breeding and agriculture. And it was notable that in general, women formed the majority of the workforce.
What's the answer? Women formed the majority of workforce. So association was done by most of the work, and women formed the majority of workforce. The answer is women. Now, singular or plural? Plural, because they said women. Singular is woman, plural is women. So W-O-M-E-N. If you write W-O-M-A-N, that will be wrong. Okay, yeah. Well, then fenced areas were created to keep animals away from crops. And after that, the program provided 2 things. The program provided. It means the answer is going to be a noun, right? 2 things that program provided. Dash for the fences. Have you seen fences? That's what we call bar, yes, right? So what are they made up of? Wood. Okay, what is in the wood? Wires. See that? If you imagine, you can find the answer. So it can be wires for the fences, and 34 dash for suitable crops. What do we need for crops? Basically, what do we need for crops? Come on. That's it. Right? So the program provided 2 things. Let's see what are they. I'll play the audio for both questions together. Right?
It was decided that in order to keep the crops safe from animals, both wild and domestic, special areas should be fenced off where the crops could be grown. The community was responsible for creating these fences, but the program provided the necessary wire for making them. Once the area had been fenced off, it could be cultivated. The land was dug so that vegetables and cereals appropriate to the climate could be grown, and the program provided the necessary seeds for this.
And the program provided the necessary seeds. Yes. Now you will not write necessary seeds because it's one word only. So seeds. First is wires or wire, and second is seed or seeds. Very good. And then last is water pumps and all that. Now question number 35. But what is the heading? This bullet point. The farmers provided. So what the program provided, they mentioned. The farmers provided, number 1, labor. Number 2, dash for the fences on their land. Dash for the fences, something for the fences. Again, they provided the wires, and the farmers, they provided dash for the fences. Let's see what is that.
However, the labor was all provided by local people, and they also provided and put up the posts that supported the fences around the fields.
Posts. Spelling? P-O-S-T-S. Post is just like, there is a pillar. And with that pillar, they tie the wires to make fences. So that pillar is called post. P-O-S-T. So posts. Okay, now are you, by the way, visualizing all the scenario? Fences and this and that and Limpopo River and all that. Let's go on. By the way, this is a very good idea. You can just go to YouTube and write their agricultural program in Mozambique. You can find a video on that. And that can just serve you better if you're interested. Okay, question number 36. Further developments. The heading is further developments. Very important. How many questions? 4 questions. So be alert. The marketing of produce. Produce is the product, what they grow. The marketing of produce was sometimes difficult due to lack of. Lack of means non-availability of. Lack of means it wasn't available, something which was not available, right? So just focus the word lack of, and actually marketing of produce was not sometimes, was difficult sometimes due to lack of that.
Once the program had been set up, its development was monitored carefully. The farmers were able to grow enough produce not just for their own needs, but also to sell. However, getting the produce to places where it could be marketed was sometimes a problem, as the farmers did not have access to transport, and this resulted in large amounts of produce, especially vegetables, being spoiled.
Good. Farmers did not have access to transport. So lack of and did not have access, they are the rewording, right? Transport is the answer. Very good. Question number 37. Training was therefore provided in methods of food dash. Now the answer will qualify the word food. This is the better definition. Whatever the answer is, that will qualify food. Okay, let's see.
This problem was discussed with the farmers' associations, and it was decided that in order to prevent food from being spoiled, the farmers needed to learn techniques for its preservation.
Farmer needed to learn techniques for its. Its means food and preservation. Exactly. The answer is preservation. Very good. Okay, question number 38. Farmers made special places where dash could be kept. Now think about farmers. They made special places where something could be kept. Now what is it? They will speak in the audio. Special places will be defined differently. And what is it that they kept? For that they might use the word raised cattle, if the answer is cattle, something like that.
There was also an additional initiative that had not been originally planned, but which became a central feature of the program. This was when farmers started to dig holes for tanks in the fenced-off areas, and to fill these with water and use them for breeding fish, an important source of protein.
Use them for breeding fish. So, fish could be kept. Fish could be kept means they use them for breeding fish. So the answer is? No, fish. The answer is fish. How can you say where water could be kept? Listen again, please. They use the word breeding. Breeding and keep. If you say she keeps the hens, means she breeds the hens, like that. I play it again.
There was also an additional initiative that had not been originally planned, but which became a central feature of the program. This was when farmers started to dig holes for tanks in the fenced-off areas, and to fill these with water and use them for breeding fish,
Use them
an
for
important
breeding
source
fish.
of protein.
So where farmers made special places where fish could be kept. Could be kept and breeding. They are the rewords. Okay, next 39. Local people later suggested keeping. Another thing like that. Fish is one category. So local people later suggested keeping. It is going to be another animal or bird or anything that is related to livestock or farming. Let's see what that is.
After a time, another suggestion was made by local people which hadn't been part of the programme's original proposal, but which was also adopted later on. They decided to try setting up colonies of bees, which would provide honey both for their own consumption and to sell.
So, bees and honey. All right, honey. Good. So bees will be the answer. And how do you spell bees? B-E-E-S, bees. Very good. Last question, education, evaluation and lessons learned. And the last bullet point, enough time must be allowed, particularly for the dash phase of the program. Dash phase means initial phase of the program, right? It can be something like that. So related to program.
However, it's important to set realistic timelines for each phase of the program, especially for its design, as mistakes made at this stage may be hard to correct later on.
Each phase of the program, especially its design. So design is a phase actually. I play it again.
However, it's important to set realistic timelines for each phase of the program, especially for its design.
Especially for its design. Its mean program. So design phase of the program. Clear? They use pronouns. Like for program, they use the word its. Okay, so this is very, very common. All right.